Hi, everyone. This is Miranda Ward with the Valuable Voices podcast. I'm excited for you guys to hear from Dr. Shelley Fisher today. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, you look great. I love that color on you. I'm excited to hear your story. So I just want to dive right in. I know you've got some books to share, and we'll get to your website and how to find you. But yeah, kind of tell us, your background and your story and how you grew up.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. I'd be glad to. Well, I grew up in Northwest Indiana. I went to grade school, high school here. I went to college at Indiana University, Purdue University, and I received my doctorates from Regent University.
Okay.
Well, um, after college, I became a teacher. That was my childhood ambition. I always wanted to teach. And then something really happened to me. We had a custodial strike in our city, and all of the teachers were housed in one high school. And there were a group of teachers who started to have a spiritual church meetings and that. And at first I wasn't interested. I would just stay in the room and read my book. And somebody said, "Come on, let's go down. Let's listen to this." Well, after this strike, these teachers formed an organization called Gary Educators for Christ. And that's, even though I've always been in church all my life, I received most of my spiritual background from this organization. And then I began to find out that I had leadership qualities. I was always the person who wanted to sit in the back and help the person out front. And all of a sudden, I went from teacher to principal. And my principal always encouraged me, "You shouldn't be in this classroom. You should be a principal." I said, "Oh my goodness, I would never want to do that, to take up the whole building. Oh no, not me." But
Wow.
he kept saying that to me, and something began to resonate with me. And so I became a principal,
Wow.
a consultant, a curriculum writer. It was after this group, and I received my relationship with God. It was like a constant elevation.
Wow. I love
And
that.
yeah, and then I retired, and I worked at the university for a while teaching leadership. And I thought the students would be eager to have conversation and, just talk about what was going on and the leadership. And they would come in, I guess they would come from work and kind of slump. And I said,
Yeah.
"This is not for me." So I did that for about 2 years, and I said, no, I needed to be more stimulated. So then
Okay.
I began to write books. I've always been a writer, and I procrastinated forever and ever about writing this book. And I had a friend who had begun her book, and she and I were talking. She said, "You really need to get started, Shelley. Come on now."
Wow.
And so that's how Nehemiah on Leadership was born.
Wow.
Um, Nehemiah on Leadership, I Can't Come Down, is a story about a man who was wine taster to the king. And his brother told him that the walls were down, the walls of Jerusalem were down. And anyway, this man prayed for 3 months before even asking the king if he could go to help build these walls. But to make a long story short, the walls were built in 52 days. And within that text, you find all kind of nuggets about leadership, how to work in teams, and about character and about prayer.
Wow.
And so with that book, I not only was it a book about spirituality, but I weaved in organizational leadership so that somebody in the corporate world or who had a small business could use this book sort of as a blueprint as to what to do. And
Wow.
then, after that book, I wrote a book called Go and Tell. And that book evolved because I had come into contact with so many people who would say one thing and do something else. So I call that book Go and Tell Spiritual Leadership. That's what you do and say align.
Wow.
And then I was involved in 3 group anthologies with people. And I guess the one that's most exciting to me is called Sisters of the Gift. And those teachers who were with me in that teacher strike and that organization, there were 4 of us who, we did this in recent years, the last 2 years. We came together and we wrote a book and we put our experiences in there. And we just in essence we show that a spirituality is an everyday circumstance, the supernatural, as you go about your daily activity. If you really look and examine yourself, you'll see the supernatural working in there. So we did that book, and right before that one I did a book on a children's genre, Dad, Me and the Pandemic. And I thought, if children are all confused about this pandemic, if adults rather are all confused about this pandemic, what about the children? So I wrote that to explain that. But in essence, my books are on leadership and spirituality. Oftentimes people they may be housed in a church, but like me, for many years, I was just a church goer. I was just sitting there. I didn't have this relationship with God. And the Lord, he thrust destiny helpers across your path. He thrust a mentor across my path during this teacher strike to help me, get to where I am. And I just have this need, I just want to see people reach their destiny to, there's more. And you don't have to stay in that same situation. If you're in doom and gloom, or you're just stuck, what else is there for me? There is more for you. And God has a destiny for you. He has something just tailor-made for you. And
I love that.
In that relationship, you can reach destiny. You can go higher and just fulfill your potential. You can be happy, doing this thing.
Yeah.
So, I just right now I like to serve and encourage others. I'm in an organization. This is significant because it's mostly males, and it's called Interfaith Clergy Council of Gary and Vicinity. And I think that I'm the second woman that's ever been president.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have these men from all over Northwest Indiana. You have different denominations.
Yeah.
And so I've had this position since January of this year, and I've had good cooperation from the men. People are saying, "Oh, I don't know how that's going to work," all of those. But the men have been very cooperative. So I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, great.
That's right. And I'm married. I have 2 children. I have 2 grandchildren, and my husband, allows me the autonomy to do what I want to do. So and I'm the type person where I have to have a challenge, so to speak. I just can't be complacent. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. You told that so well, and it sounds like I heard a couple times people spoke into you, right? You didn't see yourself as a leader, but somebody said a couple times, there's a leader in you. And I love that, because now you're kind of doing that. You're taking that and sharing that with the world and encouraging other people to go after it, and sometimes it takes just a couple people to kind of breathe life into you and see in you what maybe you don't see in yourself. So I love that. That's awesome. Well, where's your website? Where can we find your books and all of that good stuff?
Okay. My website is shelleymfisherbooks.com.
Okay.
On that website is my Go and Tell book. I really need to update it. But you can find the Go and Tell book is on the website. The other books you can find on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll put a link there. I've got both of those. So thank you so much for sharing. One last question. I'm curious. I know you're doing podcasts. Have you thought about speaking, just kind of telling your story even more? And I love that you're kind of connected to the church, but I love your story. I love just getting it out there. So I hope this helps. But again, have you, thought, or going live on Facebook and kind of sharing, snippets of your book. There's so much opportunity out there.
I've done that, and I need to
Oh,
start
good.
doing that again. I have
Yes.
done Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you just tell your story so well. I can just feel your, warmth and joy and love, just coming through. And maybe it's that yellow shirt, but yeah, it's
Thank
just like
you.
I could sit and have a cup of coffee with you and talk to you all day. But
Thank you.
yeah, like I said, I love to give people a little teaser and just, go check her out. All those books sound amazing. I love the go and tell, the thought of, saying one thing and do your actions actually align with, what you're saying. And that's really integrity and respect to yourself. And, do you love yourself enough to kind of stick to what you're saying and do what you say? So I definitely want to get my hands on that one. So, well, you guys check her out. Shelley, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you jumping on, and we'll put the links and yeah, stay in touch. I'll find you on Facebook and we'll follow you. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. God bless everybody.
Okay.
Take care.